Before this story begins, across rural Bangladesh, there are countless marshlands where fishermen have worked for generations. Most of them are peaceful, but some marshes carry a reputation that has survived for decades. The elders believe that after midnight, strange lights appear above the water, not to guide travelers, but to lure them deeper into the darkness. Whether those lights are nothing more than natural gases or something far more sinister, no one can say for certain. The story you're about to hear is based on one such local legend. This happened several years ago in a remote village. South of the village lay a massive marshland that everyone simply called the Bill. During the day, it looked perfectly ordinary. Fishermen cast their nets, children swam near the banks, farmers crossed it in small wooden boats. But once the sun disappeared, everything changed. The water became unnaturally dark. The silence felt heavier. Even the wind seemed afraid to cross the marsh. The village elders had only one warning. If you ever see a mysterious light in the middle of the Bill after midnight, never follow it. Most young people laughed at the story. They believed it was nothing more than an old superstition. One of them was a fisherman named Rahim. Rahim was well known throughout the village. He feared nothing. For nearly 20 years, he had spent his nights fishing in rivers and marshes. People often joked that even ghosts would be afraid of him. Late one afternoon, news spread across the village. Several fishermen claimed they had seen enormous catfish gathering near the center of the marsh. Everyone wanted to go, but no one wanted to go after dark. Rahim simply smiled. If the fish are there tonight, I'm going tonight. The older fisherman tried to stop him. Wait until morning. Don't cross the Bill after midnight. That place is different at night. Rahim laughed. I'm going to catch fish, not ghosts. That evening, I met him at the village landing. He was carefully folding his fishing net. I asked, "Are you really going tonight?" He nodded confidently. If I wait until morning, someone else will catch them first. The sky grew darker. Heavy clouds covered the moon. By 10:30 p.m., Rahim pushed his old wooden boat into the water. A small kerosene lantern hung from the front of the boat. Its warm yellow light reflected gently across the black surface of the marsh. For a brief moment, everything looked peaceful. I called out one last time, "Rahim, maybe you should stay tonight." He smiled. "I'll be back before dawn." Those were the last words I ever heard him say that night. Slowly, his lantern drifted farther and farther away, until it disappeared into the darkness. I remained standing on the shore for several minutes. Then, something happened that I still cannot explain. Far out in the middle of the marsh, another light suddenly appeared. It wasn't Rahim's lantern. This light was brighter, paler, and completely motionless. There was no boat beneath it, no fisherman, nothing. It simply hovered above the black water. I rubbed my eyes. The light was still there. Then, very slowly, it began moving. Not randomly, not with the wind. It was moving straight toward Rahim's boat. A cold chill ran through my entire body, and then the silence of the marsh was shattered by a scream. A scream so terrifying that even today, I can still hear it in my nightmares. It was Rahim. The moment Rahim screamed, every drop of blood in my body seemed to freeze. I stood there on the riverbank, unable to move. Within minutes, I ran back to the village. Soon, several fishermen arrived carrying lanterns and flashlights. Everyone wanted to head into the marsh immediately, but the oldest man in the village raised his hand and stopped us. His voice was calm, but filled with fear. Nobody goes into the bill tonight. If the darkness has already claimed someone, you cannot bring them back before sunrise. No one argued. We simply stood there, watching the endless black water. Rahim's lantern had completely disappeared. Only that strange, pale light remained. It drifted slowly across the middle of the marsh, as if it were searching for something. None of us spoke. The entire night passed in complete silence. Finally, the first call to prayer echoed from the village mosque. As the sound spread across the marsh, the mysterious light suddenly faded and vanished, just like that. When the sun finally rose, a group of experienced fishermen launched their boats. I went with them. We searched every corner of the marsh. After nearly an hour, we found Rahim's fishing net. A little farther away, his wooden paddle floated quietly on the water, but there was still no sign of him. Then, one of the fishermen shouted, "There!" Near a cluster of water lilies, Rahim's boat drifted silently. We hurried toward it. Everything inside looked untouched. The lantern had burned out. His fishing basket was still there. His net remained half cast into the water. It looked as though he had vanished in the middle of a single moment. No signs of a struggle, no blood, no footprints, nothing, except 5 long black marks across the wet wooden floor of the boat. They looked disturbingly similar to human fingers, only much larger. No one could explain them. The villagers decided to stop searching. 3 long days passed. Rahim never returned. Most people believed he had drowned. Others whispered that the bill had taken him. Then, on the morning of the 4th day, everything changed. A farmer walking near the marsh spotted someone sitting alone on the bank. It was Rahim. He was alive, but something about him was terribly wrong. His clothes were soaked. His skin was pale. His eyes stared endlessly toward the water, as though he were looking at something invisible. We rushed him home. For hours, he refused to speak. Finally, late that evening, he whispered a single sentence. It wasn't a light. The room fell completely silent. Rahim continued speaking without looking at anyone. It called me. I thought I was following a lantern, but beneath the water, there was another world. They were all standing there, waiting. His voice suddenly stopped. No matter how many questions we asked, he never spoke about that night again. But from that day forward, every evening just before sunset, Rahim would quietly walk toward the marsh. His family had to stop him by force. He always repeated the same words. They're waiting for me. They'll come back. Almost a month later, Rahim disappeared. His bedroom door was open. His footprints led toward the bill. They continued along the muddy bank, then suddenly ended. There were no footprints leading away, no signs of anyone returning. He was never seen again. Even today, the people of that village refuse to fish there after dark. On stormy nights, some claim they still see a lonely lantern glowing over the black water. And beside that pale light, they sometimes see the shadow of an old fisherman, standing perfectly still, holding a worn fishing net, waiting for someone else to follow the light. So if you ever find yourself alone beside an unfamiliar marsh, and you notice a mysterious light floating across the water, remember one thing. Not every light is meant to guide you home. Some lights exist only to lead you where no one ever returns.